walking tour of the Battle of Newmarket battlefield. Over there we just got the museum. Nothing too big, but anyway, back where you see the trees, that's where General Breckinridge had the bulk of his army, about 5,000 strong. And over there you can see past the trees on the crest of the hill, a little bit past the crest, that's where the Union commander General Sigel had his troops, and that numbered close to 9,000. So the Confederates were highly outnumbered, and that's why they called upon cadets at VMI. So anyway, the VMI cadets were in reserve status, and that meant they were about 600 meters behind the main assault line. But there was a gap. About halfway through the battle, a gap was exposed in the Confederate line, right about here, right below that, right on top of the berm of that hill you see back there. And Breckinridge was placed in a really tough position. So eventually he just said, all right, we're gonna send in the cadets, and may God forgive me for that order. The quote was, send the boys in, and may God forgive me. So the cadets, who are about right beyond this brown log cabin, right at this point in the battle, they're back here in reserve duty, up on that hill. That's where the main Confederate army is. So the cadets rush from the reserves back here, run across this building. This is called Bouchong's Farm, and they are going to set up their main assault line right past the backyard of the farm on this white picket fence right here. When the Corps of Cadets gets to this white fence, they start setting up a firing line, and Colonel Shipp gives them the order to fire at will. No more are they firing any volleys. A couple of them, by the time they get up to this picket fence, they start getting, heavy. This is the first time they get come under heavy Union fire. So they're right here, posted up. You can see the fence doesn't really provide a whole lot of cover, but it's better than just moving across open land. So the firing line of the cadets spans from about that brown wooden fence over there all through here, right along this picket fence. Now, at the day of the battle, this white picket fence stretched down for, a couple hundred some odd meters, and they're setting up this firing line, and they're engaging Union artillery and Union infantry just right over here, right on this berm. So eventually they're under immense fire, and they really can't do much with the odds that they're dealt. So Captain Henry Wise, the battalion commander of the Corps of the Cadets, he orders the cadets who are still fixated on this firing line right here to fix bayonets, and we're going to charge the Union guns. So they move in an orderly fashion through this orchard right here, and set up another line right here along these wooden posts. And this is where they will have their final assault line. And when they come here, this is when they are fully exposed to the Union artillery's fury. Okay, the Union artillery is literally it's right in front of us. Look at this open ground. No cover, no nothing, flat grassland, and we have batteries. Batteries here, batteries there, batteries here, all across this berm. Cadets are right here, 255 strong, fixed bayonets, and they charge across this field. Now, much like a day like this, May 15th, 1864, the days prior to that, it was raining. Shenandoah looked exactly like this on the day of the battle. It was rainy, it was cold, and this is what became called the Field of Lost Shoes, because it was so muddy. It was, some accounts of the battle said that, some of the water was, it's like ankle high. And this is actually insane that I'm here on a day that's like this. This is what the water seemed to look like. See how, you sink in and it sucks your shoes out. So the cadets are back here. Captain Wise orders them to fix bayonets and charge Union batteries right on the berm, right over here. So they're sprinting across this open field. You know, they're coming under heavy fire from artillery, from musket fire, but accounts of the battle say that the cadets, they never broke ranks. You know, for example, one of the accounts said that an artillery shell exploded in the front of their ranks and like blew a huge gap in them. About 10 of them fell, but they pick up the colors, they interlock arms basically, and they keep moving forward. So this is a big stretch of land without any cover, especially when you got, 4 to 5 Union artillery batteries totaling about, 20 some odd guns. They have canister shot, grape shot, and they're just laying waste to this field right here. In total, the VMI Corps cadets suffer 33% casualties, and that's more than any other Confederate unit on the day of the Battle of New Market. And all the while, these cadets are charging this open field. This is a couple hundred yards. The Confederate left flank over here is faltering. The Confederate right flank, which is where the highway is now, is at a standstill. They're at a stalemate. So the cadets are literally leading the Confederate charge up to this hill, Bouchong's Hill, to try and take out these Union batteries and try to rout them from the battlefield. So they eventually get up to the berm of the hill, which is right over here, and yep, there you can see them. And here are the cannons that are part of the 54th Pennsylvania Infantry under Sigel's command firing. So look at all this open ground, okay? And when they get to this point right here, just before, like right as you get up to the crest of this small depression, so back where the museum's at, where's my hand? Yep, way over there. That is where Breckinridge has his forward observers, okay? And he says the cadets will be under some fire, but not too terribly in this small depression right here. And you see how it, kind of goes down and then back over to Bushong's farm. But he said once they get to the crest, once they get to the berm, look at the cannons. They're literally right into the teeth of the cannons. So when they get to this point, it's a full-on charge. It's not a double quick time assault anymore. This is every man for himself. We're going to charge these Union batteries and we're going to take them. So this cannon represents the one cannon that was captured on the day of the battle, the 54th Pennsylvania. They're fighting hand-to-hand combat with the cadets, and the cadets ended up taking over this battery, but the Union was able to get the majority of their cannons and artillery wagons out, and they fled the battlefield up this way to the northwest, and they retreated over that hill right over there. But let's just take this into perspective here, okay? So this is the view of a Union artillery officer on May 15th, 1864. Okay, you can see, this is a great vantage point. You can see the entirety of the battlefield. All right, so from here, what you're able to do, okay, we see Bushong's farm right over there, and we see that white picket fence that would have extended all throughout here on May 15th, 1864. You have a clear line of shot, clear line of sight, and a clear shot to where the cadets posted up at Bushong's farm on that white picket fence. Now you understand why they couldn't stay there. There was no cover. The artillery, musket fire, it's all getting in that general direction in a fury of cannonballs, canister, and mini balls flying through the air. So when the cadets start moving forward, you can see how you will lose them for a split second, right? So they're right here, and then you lose them in that depression I was talking about earlier. However, literally less than 100 yards in front of me. That is the crest of that hill, and the entire Corps of Cadets, all 255 of them, come into a clear line of sight of all these Union cannons that have been spanning from that brown fence over there all up in this hill, all up to the hill, okay? And when they get to this crest of the hill, it is such an overwhelming force. Union accounts say that they barked out the nastiest, hellish rebel yell that they have ever heard on the battlefield. And they get to this berm, and it is a full-fledged, frontal assault bayonet charge, and they capture one cannon, and they completely rout the Union forces, okay? The Union line stretched from here, from over there to the highway, all the way to the top of this hill. 9,000 men, just all lined up right here into 2 columns, and it is, two line formations, and they are overwhelmed. Mainly because the cadets spearheaded this assault, and they took control of this entire battery that was right here. This battery is completely wiped out. Sigel's left flank, gone. There is now a complete gap in his line to where it breaks it right here and splits his army in 2. So the cadets helping out, remember that I was talking about how the Confederate right flank was in a stalemate. Half of the Corps starts focusing their fire over there on Union troops, and it helps break the stalemate. The Confederates on the right flank advance up. Now the Confederates on the left flank, their attack stalled. They're getting pushed back. That's Moore's brigade. Now, since the cadets pushed through right here, took this battery, split the armies in 2, they turned their field of fire, the other half, to the left, and they're taking out, you can see, that's the main battery up there, up on the hill that has a clear line of sight of everything. So they're focusing their field of fire to the left side, and they are, wreaking havoc on Union artillery batteries, infantry lines, and this allows Moore's brigade on the left-hand side to advance quickly right up this hill, and eventually, at about 3:30 p.m., after about 3 to 4 hours of intense fighting, the Confederacy completely routs Sigel's army from the battlefield, and thus the Shenandoah Valley, which you see around me, is preserved yet again and repels another Union attack. Quite frankly, if the Shenandoah falls, as Stonewall Jackson once said, the war will be over. This was the cradle of the Confederacy. This was a lifeline of the South. It provided economic growth. It was a big way to move troops up and down from north to south, south to north. And this is what allowed, the army to be fed, the army to be transported, things like that. If the Shenandoah Valley fell, the war would have been over easily within a couple weeks. The Shenandoah Valley fell right here on May 15th, 1864. Sigel takes his army, okay? They rout the Confederates. You see that right over there? That's called New Market Gap. His army shoots right through there, links up with Grant's army, and they destroy Robert E. Lee by the summer of 1864. So, there you have it. In Battle of New Market, May 15th, 1864, cadets of the Virginia Military Institute saved the day for the Confederacy, and yet again repelled another Union attack down the Shenandoah. All right, see you guys.